Hey guys, my name is Cidiac and welcome back to another episode of RockTown here in City Skylines 2, where we're continuing to build this great region, all based off the mining industry within this glorious desert. So far, things are going really well. We got our first town of Serrano right now, which is killing the game. That was set up beautifully. We got bypassing roads, we've got big industries, and then we built our second town recently, which I'm still not sure on how to pronounce it. It's called Merrill. There's a bunch of you really wanting me to kind of pronounce it in all different types of ways, so I think I'm just going to keep each episode pronouncing it differently until one of them sticks. Last episode, we built this huge mining complex right next door to it. Incorporated new cargo deliveries with a cargo train station. Things are going really well right now. But we do have a little bit of a problem with this town, and that big problem is the fact that people are trying to cross the highway. Now, we did a few episodes ago incorporate these overpasses for pedestrians, and while they do use it, the ones that are now crossing the road need some further down, which we're going to get all hooked up and running. I also have a big problem that's either going to be a problem or I'm kind of going to just about get away with it with the skin of my teeth. And that problem is pollution. I didn't realize or take into account how much air pollution these signature kind of buildings were going to be, these unique factories. It is since now spreading all the way down to Mirror. Is this going to be a problem for us? Or do you reckon that's as far as the pollution is going to go? Have your predictions right now, have your guess if this is going to be a problem for the town of Mirror in the comment section down below. We don't know yet. We just do not know. But today, I want to do some improvements. Now, I want to sort out that crossing issue in Mirror. I want to slightly grow the population in Mirror a little bit more. But I also want to build a little road that runs through the edge of the creek that connects up these two towns. Reason one being, I want to create a smaller town here. It's not going to be big. It's going to be very basic. And then we're going to create a bus route that connects up the two towns going through this smaller third town. I think we'll call this one like a little bit of a village. And what this road is going to be is the original road between Serrano and Mirror before the government built the big highway system. Now, it's going to allow us to kind of build some small residential, some small commercial, put a couple of gas stations down, a bus route connecting. And then in the town of Mirror, I want to start creating the postal service so people within this region can get their mail. This is then going to gear us all up nicely for a big mega project that we're going to build next episode, but I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. But do expect a mega project in the next episode. I also want to kind of start a junction here on the old creek that will eventually run in to a river that will go down in that direction as well. So a lot of things planned in today's episode, but if you are enjoying the series, make sure you smash that like button down below so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. Now, I asked you guys last episode, how do I get people not to cross this? We have no junctions, no crossings involved, but they still are ignoring everything. I think one of the things I've got to do right now is maybe upgrade one of these roads to a highway road, because I don't think pedestrians walk down highways, right? So if I anarchy this connection in here and to there, does that guarantee that we're not going to see people walking? You and you. It's slightly oofed a bit of my building there. I'm not quite sure what to now do about that. But play mode, I want to see if that works. Now, if it works, fantastic. I think it has slightly destroyed right now some of my commercial offerings, which is a shame. And what is also a shame as well, I've just changed the type of zoning as well. If that works, that's great. I can then go ahead and incorporate an actual physical crossing that they can then walk over. These people are still hard-coded to go down here. I don't know if this is even possible. I've got this feeling they're still able to do the walking. So what we'll do next then is we will set up a nice little overpass, just like we've done over here as well. I could use these, which is great, But I want to build my own variant of it. So I'm going to bring this up then to a 10. Is that 10 too much? 10 is way too much. I'm thinking we bring it down to a 5. And I will incorporate this somewhere like here. And then drop it down to Earth. And let me get the snapping off on the old diagonal, baby. It does mean we're going to see a crossings there, but would we rather see the crossings there than anywhere else? Potentially. Potentially. So something like that could really work in our favor, but I'm not a huge fan of it, if I'm being completely honest with you, this kind of system, this little setup. Because they still got to walk down to here. You know what I mean? Where I could have just done it all the way up and then over. Let's just see if this changes it on this side. Because that's what we're kind of hoping is going to happen. We are eliminating the ability for them to walk on this. And thus creating an overpass which solves the issue with the junction. But because this is so quite close, we're still going to have that issue with the junction with them crossing just here. So we could force them to cross over there instead. That will save some problems. But we're hoping this is going to work. So what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to get rid of this crossing there. I'm also going to get rid of that crossing there so they don't cross directly on this road, just to alleviate a little bit more flow. I'm not a fan of that version of the overpass. So let's see if I can create like a different variation of it over here. So what I'll do is I'll bring you down and then raise you up to 5, just going across there. We've got this going over, so I'll bring you to there, which will allow me to cross over to here as well. And then I will drop this down to a 0. Drop this down to a 0. And then incorporate a cross in there and a cross in there. I have no idea what has just happened here with this. What in the world is going on between that connection? I don't know. I don't know what you're doing right now, but please don't do it. Right, there we go. That's a little bit better. That is a little bit better. Let's put this all back into an alignment. And maybe we drop you down a bit. Keep you about there. And then that's something a little bit different. So I think that variation's better. It moves the crossing further down and away from the junctions. That works. So I think I'm going to redo this one. And pause. And just try again. Now we've got a better system we can incorporate. See? Absolute perfection, boys. Second time's a charm. Says nobody. Right, go to there. Let me drop you then down to 0 and then bring you in. There we go. Oh, hello. What happened there? And do the same on this side. Bring you down to a... Oh, I can bring it to this junction here. And that's glorious. Now, there is a possibility where I could have connected these guys up as well. But I'm just not gonna. I'm just not gonna. Right, that has now slightly destroyed some of the zoning here. Oh my goodness me, it's really changed my zoning there. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to upgrade this road here to be in that type of highway. It really does mess me up slightly. It really does, but we should be okay and we should be able to get away with this. Is that what is that building? Is that oh, it's my petrol station. Right. I'm going to have to reposition you then in this petrol station. I've got one over there as well. They were on these roads. I'm going to incorporate you here, which will take over that little bit. So get rid of that. And I'll incorporate a nice little section there. And then put you here. Do a nice little section there. I'm going to get rid of you to move you like this. And then we'll be back in business. We'll be back in business. Right. Nice little improvement. Creates more walkability, but also keeps the pedestrians off the junction. The important highway junction anyway. Now, if I really wanted to, we could incorporate a couple of little slip roads. Just to kind of, you know, really help the flow. The only downside now is the trains. They have to obviously, of course, go through this. But they're few and far between for now. We'll see what happens. Right, leave that... Oh, hold on, we've got another problem. But I say leave this town alone right now. The problem is that road needs to go a little bit further. So let me get the dirt road. Bring you to there. Which would solve that issue. And then create the little connection there. We're back in business. Right. Now, I want to build my little road. My little perimeter road that will go through the creek. And it will be considered the original road between Serrano and Mirror. I'm going to do it on a... Do I go for an alley road? To keep it nice and basic. I could do a dirt road. That would also be pretty interesting. I kind of want it like... Not many road markings. I could do like a pedestrianized street, but that's not what we're after, if I'm being completely honest with you. So what if I just kind of designate it first to be a dirt road, and then I'll upgrade it once I feel a bit better about this situation. So what I'm going to do first then is I'm going to run all the straight bits. That's what we'll do first, is we'll run where I want the straight bits to go. So if I went something like... Let's go there. That gives us some zoning either side. And then what we could then incorporate is just complete bends like this. Ooh, this is going to be nice. This is going to end up being real nice. Right, we're going to go to there. And I'm going to incorporate you. And then to here. Oh, hello. And then we'll do some bendy wendies just to make everything all connect. So that's an 83 by 86. And then this one going back here. 81 by 80. That will do us. Now, this one's going to be quite the bend here. 76. We'll take it to an 80. How does that look? I don't think that's too bad, because like this here, it could be like the center of the town. That could be like the hub of it. And it kind of then just slightly sprawls off from there. I will upgrade it differently from a dirt road in some areas. I think we'll change it to like the alley style road, just so it's like more asphalted in the more bulkier areas. Right, that's great. That is real good. I mean, I'm enjoying this already. All right, bring you to about there. 62. Right, I'll do it like that. And then run you in. So this is looking like a nice road surrounding this mountain. I'm going to do the same system I've done before with naming this area, where we take it from the first person that moves in. And then I'll let you, if it's a terrible name, I'll let you guys rename it. But if I like the name, we'll kind of low-key keep it. Right, this is where I want to split the creek off right now into a new direction. So why don't we design it, and then what we'll do is we'll build the road going over it as a bridge. So we'll go level terrain at this level, which is a -13. And we'll get it so... I don't know which way it's kind of flowing. Can we kind of tell? I think it's pretty stable, isn't it? I think it is pretty stable. It is going in what direction? It's very difficult to tell which direction it's flowing in. Because there's not really much going on. I don't think it's going any direction. I think it's pretty stagnant. So we could kind of forcibly make it go in a direction at a certain point. So let's just say then it kind of went off in this direction. So you've got your little V bend. And we are going to have to make it pretty nice. So we'll kind of bend this a little bit more. We'll bend that a little bit more. There we go. And I'm just going to push it in this direction. And just kind of end it for there for just a minute. Until we decide what ultimately we want to do with it. Right. I'm going to kind of really reduce my softening here. Just so you get like a nice little kind of edge on the water. And then I'll just kind of let it... I don't know if it's actually going to spread that far. I'm not too sure. But we'll then build our little bridge going over. Now, we are going to do this 2-lane wooden bridge. Which ultimately I think is going to be pretty nice. So where should I include it? Like somewhere like just here? Little wooden bridge, it goes over the creek. That will continue to go down in that direction where we'll have like a wider canal river system, reservoir, all that sweet jazz. And it might, the water might reverse where it flows this way. And we use this little creek as a filter going outwards. That will be really nice. From this then, we need to look at doing our glorious little bend. There we go. And then running this somewhat straight-ish. We need to figure out where it's then going to kind of connect to. Now, I feel like we could do it with roads... with both of these roads that stick out. So if I brought you out, and let's say I brought you out so far, and then I decided to do a bit of a bend, and that bend there could be the road that runs to this. So I could... that doesn't feel like it's aligned correctly. I wouldn't even say that is either. But bringing you down, I'm going to pick you here to here. Delete that. And then we'll bend these in. Simple yet effective. So 80 by 80. And then we sort this one out. 92... 96, that will do us. Run that way. So that's where it kind of flows out. That's like the original road. So in reality, like where we had the original crossroad where the train station is, that kind of went down that way. That is the road that runs through to go to Mirror. That is the original road. And that will lead into the original crossroad before the train station was built for Mirror. So there's a story there. There is a nice little story there, which is pretty cool. So bringing you down, so bring you to about there. And then the bend is a 102, 101. Like that. And that's simply how it's going to work. That's glorious. That is glorious. The water will take some time to spread. It's not even at the right angle or the right heights. It's just going to have to do what it's got to do. It's very stagnant until we kind of play around with water sources and whatnot, but I don't want to do that just yet. Right, pollution is somewhat spreading again. We are going to have some serious issues with pollution. I'm going to have to get rid of the zone in there, unfortunately. I might have to think about moving these in the future. I didn't realize they pollute so much. Did not realize. Right, let's create them And we're going to use the alley roads to create a small little town. And I reckon what we do is bringing you like this. Wow, there's already people utilizing it. Bringing you like that. I don't really want them to use this as the main road. Like, I want them to... I rather them kind of... Oh, I don't know, actually. I don't know whether that's kind of cool to be the bypassing road and then we build the town off it here. That's kind of like a better idea, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to invert that idea, but no, this seems a lot better. So I could... In theory, what I could do is I could create little kind of cul-de-sacs and whatnot. Of this smaller little town. I'm going to create a little bit of a run here for some shopping. I don't like how that's kind of gone like that. Oh, I'm liking this already. This is going to be a nice little feature. All right, let's bring a bunch of roads coming out first. And then we're just going to do something a little bit here. And then why don't we incorporate a little bit of a bend. It's like the road down to the point of the creek. That's really nice. Now, we did have some traffic using it. Where's all the traffic now gone? Interesting how some of them were actually using it straight away versus now. Interesting. So we are, I think it might make a bit more sense to just like, is there a speed limit difference? How do we know what the speed limit difference is? Is there a way in which I can change speed limits? No, I don't think there is there? Right, let me kind of bulk this a little bit further. What do you reckon? Do you think we should kind of keep the asphalted, like, concreted road? Because that adds a bit more to it than what it is just by generic. And I'm just going to run it all the way down into there. And then I'll do this one to there. That probably makes a lot more sense. And then we do our little dirt town like this. That works a lot better, isn't it? I really like this. So what I'm going to do is, it should also bring the power and stuff like that as well. We will get a small little petrol station. Or should I go for the medium one? How about the large? I'll go for the large petrol station there, just as you turn off. And then I'll do the small one just here. So petrol stations either side of this small little town, which is going to be great. Any other little buildings? We could probably put like a little bit of a pub down. Overlooking the little creek area. Nice little level up there. What did we just unlock from leveling up? Milestones. We just got high density. Okay, I'm not sure we're quite ready for high density just yet. Little pub overlooking the creek. We'll add in, I think the residential buildings are a bit too much. Yeah, none of them we needed in. None of them, boys, none of them. We'll do a tiny park area. Add some leisure facilities. And we'll do a small little city park, or should we go for... I reckon we go for a mini park. I'm just going to throw that one just here. So a little leisure around. We'll do some car parking. So I don't think it's going to be too big. Do I go gravel? See, gravel's pretty nice. I'm going to go for a gravel car park there. Oh, it's a shame I couldn't squeeze it in that little gap. Right, a little bit of a gravel car park just there. Oh, actually, do you know what? No, I'm going to put it on the other side here by the... If I put it there, and I'm just going to use the move it tool to bring it down... I'm just going to extend my road offerings a little bit more. So the parking is near the pub. That's like the main reason you come to this little area is for the pub. Right, okay. It has all its power, has all its water, which is all good. And then we're just going to quickly designate this area, and then we're going to give it a name. So if I just bring it across here, kind of go around. So it's called Beechwood Downs by default, but we're going to name it after the first family that moves in here. If it's a good name, we'll keep it. If it's a terrible one, I'll let you guys decide what we then name it to. So I might give us some waterfront properties, seeing as we're kind of like low-key backing onto water. So if I go there... That first house of people moving in, Darby's. The Darby family. The Darby family, Darby. I don't think that's a good name for this town. Darby. So, I'm going to let you guys decide about this. Let me know in the comment section down below what would be a good town name for this. This small little creek town. Derby, I'm not feeling it. I'll be honest with you, not feeling it at all. Right, with that said, we'll then now kind of throw in some decent residential. There we go. Fill all this up. Beautiful residential. Right, I'm doing all the waterfront properties near the creek area. And then we'll do a little bit of commercial. We'll go southwest commercial. So we'll run it just to there. I'll run a bit there. And I'll run a bit just there. So commercial in the area. And then we'll go for some southwest row house. And I'm thinking I'm going to do next. And I'll incorporate a nice little chunk of that here. And we'll do a nice little chunk just there. And to there. And then we'll just, I'm going to do, I don't think I'm going to do medium density. I'm just going to do normal zoned house in there. All these little nooks and crannies going to get filled in. And I think that's it. That's as much as I'm maybe willing to do at this moment in time. So let's set up a nice little glorious bus route that's going to go between the two towns. Everyone's still utilizing my overpasses, right? Yes, that has fixed the problem, which is great. Right, bus line. We've got our bus station here. And I want to, it's got to come round, obviously. So I might as well make it utilize these stops as it comes round. And I'll do one last one here as you exit in. Following it all the way through. I'll do a stop there. Oh, these are not stops. Hold on. Let me start that again. I'm pretty much setting up waypoints is what I'm doing. All right. There and there. And then I'll do one last one. Here and here. As it comes all the way around. I'm going to make it go down here. It's got to get to the other side, hasn't it? So I'll do a stop. There and there. Do one there and there. And it can utilize the same system. So from there, we need to bring it all the way around. We'll bring it into there. Bring it into there. Bring it into there. Coming all the way in now. Here. Here. All the way through to there. Utilizing these same stops. In. Oh, hang on. Scrap that one. There. In. And then back out again. There we go. Through the little town here. I just realised that's the town name of the first town that we created in the Woodville series. I've literally just realised that. Right, bam. Wabam. 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 Now, pause straight away, because that's going to want to do so many buses. Right. 11 is what the minimum I can reduce it down to. I don't think I've got 11 to work with, so we are going to need an additional bus thing. Right, that's a lot of buses, and I can't reduce them any less than what I've got right there. But that's glorious. That is now glorious. We have this glorious town, which already requires a hearse. It already requires a hearse right now. But the town of Derby at the minute has got 186 residents. And 85 jobs. Nice. Glorious. Fantastic. Fantastic. I like that. I feel like we should do more of this dotted around all the places. Little unique towns that have a little bit of a story involved. It's like that was the original road, and then, you know, the residents got sick and tired of all the through traffic, so they kind of built a miniature little bypass going all the way through. We've got our little creek area here that will eventually go on to spread. And that's just going to have to be something that we're going to work with as time goes on. It will take a while, but it will lead down to something much bigger in that vicinity. Right, while this whole time has been passing, have we been seeing the air pollution spread? I don't know whether it's getting worse or whether that's as far as it's now going to go. I don't know. I truly do not know. But I'm now going to start placing down some additional residential. So the town of Mirror, we'll just do some normal residential now, throwing all this in these little bigger gaps. Works out really well for us. So do some chunkier boys. Nice, 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 nice. That will boost up the population a little bit. I can see Mirror being slightly bigger than Serrano at this point, the way it's going to go. But let's now see if we can afford to do any postal services. So to incorporate I can't get a postal sort of facility. I couldn't even afford it anyway, but we need some local post offices. So we got a small post office, which we could incorporate in Derby, or I could have the post offices be from the towns nearby. Now, we can do a decent post office that would fit here. And that was very, very expensive for Mirror right there. And then we'll do a couple of post boxes. I know the coverage is already pretty good over here, but we're going to drop a few down anyway. And how much was that post office? It was 250,000 big ones. All right, post boxes there. We could do with another one. We really could do with another one. We'll get you in. Trying to make sure we got the coverage. We're going to have some problems over here, so we'll get them in. Just there. Of course, over here. Now, we're going to get another post office within Serrano. So if I just do a light coverage of just post boxes, the post office will do the majority of the coverage after that. Right. Nice little post office thrown in. Damn. I've noticed when I zoom in lately, I don't know one of these hot fixes that have been coming out recently, but I've noticed recently, every time I zoom in, the game has a serious episode. Right, up to 40 employees, 20 vehicles. Sort out a nice little perimeter right there. That is going to work glorious for us. Absolutely glorious. Right, the town of Mirror is slowly coming to life. There is buses on the way. People are loving life right now. We need an ambulance over here. Can't afford to do much because we are very poor. Very poor at this point. Unemployment is very low, so we could definitely squeeze in some more residents. We'd need to. We need more people living here, basically. So I'm going to go a little bit OTT right now. Nice. Let's do some over on this side. Lovely. Jubbly. And let's switch up some of the styling as well. Very good, very good. Very good, very good. Very good, very good. Yeah, Mirror's getting slightly a bit bigger right now. Ever so slightly a little bit bigger. It's very dry in this desert. Very dry. The water is slightly spreading. But we're gearing ourselves up for mega projects. We really are. Right. Okay. Right, what is the population of Mirror at this point? 2,400. Serrano is 3,000. Do I show Serrano a little bit more love? Do we, don't we? Do we, don't we, boys? I'm not going to just yet. I'm not going to just yet. Mirror's got so much more space for growth. It really has. Right, what are people's biggest hindrance right now is the high taxes, high crime risk. Oh my goodness me. I can't even afford to do any policing. So we need more revenue, if anything. Oh, there's been a big crash there. Of course there has. So let's check our production right now. So production-wise, we have huge surpluses of stone, coal, metal ore. So I'm thinking we might be able to get away with our next type of signature building. I know we've got the ground earth building just there. We've done the blast furnace and we've done the steel works. We've got the concrete batch plant. We've got the casting fabrication. We've got the the fabrication unit. And we've got the gravity separator as well. Now, they're all pretty small size buildings. So this is all stuff we can maybe squeeze in. That fits in there wonderful. The concrete batch plant, which will start producing concrete for us from stone. Could argue, okay, maybe we need some more stone mining within this vicinity. But that fits that little area there pretty nice. Provides 63 jobs. You can't complain too much. Right, where's all this traffic come from all of a sudden? Because we had that little accident, now we've got some serious traffic issues. And the trains are not helping. The trains are seriously not helping. So at some point in the future, we can play around with like a little bit of asymmetrical road. A little bit of stuff like the ability to create little slippy slips. You know what I mean? We'll have a lot of fun doing all this stuff. A lot of fun. Little asymmetrical there, boys. To filter out a bunch of vehicles. But that's just a complete headache all in and in it of itself. The biggest problem is the trains stopping the vehicle traffic. But we can have some fun anyway. Once the vehicle traffic has got through, we flow wonderfully. So I don't need to kind of do stuff like that directly right now. But just know we could. Just know we could. Right, this is now profitable straight away. There is an upgrade for it, which is the ready mix facilities. We can add to it. What does it do, by the way? It adds a little bit more pollution. It turns it from low air pollution to medium air. And from low noise to still low noise. It's okay, though. We can get away with that. We can get away with that. It's not a problem. Not a problem. But increase our exports anyway. Our money that we are making. That's all we really care about at this moment in time. We need the revenue. We are pretty poor at the minute. We are pretty poor. Right, we are going to replace Serrano with some medium density next. So we are going to see little areas that could be improved, like all of this. And we're going to switch it out for some medium density. And get those areas to grow a bit more. That's spending that medium density instantly. Where there's not really much available. And it's just a natural progression of how the town is going to go. Loving it. Oh, the water's actually spread a little bit further as well. So, I don't know how it's going to work over here with the water. I like the idea of it running through to be like a nice little canal system kind of around the big... This is where we're going to build RockTown, by the way. And I feel like it needs to kind of go off into some area and us to build a big reservoir where we can have like a water treatment plant. That would work out very well for us. Right, that medium demand is getting spent very rapidly. So we're going to get rid of a little bit of this. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. To build all you up. Just to slightly increase the population. So Serrano had a 3,000. It's now up to 3,300 of these new buildings now starting to come in. Fantastic news. And that should keep increasing our revenue. So we're up to 11,000 an hour in income. It does fluctuate depending on what is, you know, being exported at that time. But that's good though. We've got a healthy bank balance. Very, very healthy bank balance right now. How's Derby looking now then? Is it upgraded a little bit? 178 people now live here. Very good, very good, very good. Very good. Do I do some walkability on this back end of it? There's not that many people that, of course, are probably going to end up using it. Let me bring you to there. Let me bring you to about there. And then I'm going to kind of then run this down to where we're going to bend like that. Bend like that. I will bend you in like this. I'll have you run straight to there. Just so the back end of it is walkable. No one's really going to use it. Okay, I say that as now people are going to start walking their doges. Okay, maybe not. They just got to the park area with the huge crater in the middle. And in terms of trees, vegetation, we could do the odd palm tree. We could do adult size. I'm not sure what the right type of palm would be. I need more cactuses, don't I? I think cactuses are more the thing that you would go for. What are these? These are... Oh no, that was the right type of palm tree for what's surrounding the area. So that does make sense. Okay. Let's not stress too much right now. Is the mail service able to handle it? Yes, it is having to also supplement Serrano. Serrano's gained 400, not far off 500 new people living here from what we've just now switched up and changed. We're going to do a little bit more. So I'm going to do this little strip now here. Which should be very good. And then we'll leave it for a while now. That should bring a few more people into Serrano. Definitely getting a little bit more busier right now. The train station is the hub of the area. It really is. It really is. And how are the buses? I'm trying to click on that bus there. It's got 19 people on board. So people are actually using the bus service, which is... Well, it's not surprising. You expect it anyway, but it's pretty nice. Right, medical facilities then. We have one in each area, which is great. And do they have the ability to be maybe upgraded? Not really. It's nearly full the storage. There's 2 vehicles in use and the whole thing. We might need to push ourselves to switch one of these out for something a little bit larger. So whereas our medical facility had a patient capacity of 25, the medical clinic has 4 times the amount and has an extra 2 ambulances. So that is probably a better idea for us. So I'm going to put you here. I might just have it as an additional. We'll have it as an additional, right? That pollution's definitely spreading. Let me get rid of these 2 boys here. That pollution's definitely spreading right now. We were kind of hoping the wind is going to blow. Is it ground pollution? Oh, okay. It's the ground pollution, which is the issue. Yeah. Right. Oh my goodness me. What happened over here? What happened over here, boys? Especially for that one over there to end up all the way over there. Shocking, that is. That's shocking. That really is shocking. Right, okay. Is the pollution over here okay? More importantly. It should be, because the wind obviously blows that way. We put the main building, because the pollution comes from the main building. Ground pollution's fine. Mirror's going to be fine for pollution. But it all depends on what this is going to do, moving this way. So I just don't know yet. Honestly, just do not know. Right. Great stuff. People using my paths now, which is perfect. Using my little car park, which is full, almost. We could squeeze in a few extras. The motorcycle one, the canopy covered one. We don't really have any biking, do we? Do you reckon, like, biking would be good? We could do some bike stands. If I do one there and then one there, I wonder what that does for us. It's weird that I put it in Derby among all the places, but it'll be interesting. I'm going to come back to it and see if they use it in Derby, they'll use it in Serrano and Mirror. So, yeah. We will see. Loving the bypassing road, by the way. It's fantastic. It is fantastic. Right, so money is looking pretty strong at this point. 17,000 now an hour. Serrano has increased from 3,000 to 3,600. So we've added an extra 600 people with the rezoning of the same areas to a higher density type of building. And keeps Serrano to the biggest city currently in the region, which is fantastic. We've gained over 1,000 people this episode who have now moved in. Unemployment is really low, which is great to see. Things are rocking and a-rolling, except for this damn pollution. So what we're seeing right now is the ground pollution among everything. The ground pollution is spreading. So we might need to rethink some of these industry buildings, especially the signature style buildings. I might have to move this over here just to kind of get rid of that negative effect. Serrano is going to be hindered by that ground pollution. But at least we've caught it early and further down the road. Right. We'll end it here, boys. We're going to attempt to do a mega project next episode. What that mega project is, not going to tell you just yet because I don't actually know. I've got 4 or 5 different variations of mega projects I want to build. It's just deciding which one I want to do first and also which one I can ultimately afford to do as well. Easier said than done with the current money situation, but I've never made as much money as I am right now, so the bank balance is looking pretty healthy for us to be able to afford some type of mega project anyway. So we will end it here, boys. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please smash the like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, I will see you all soon, so goodbye.